It's about comparing and ordering fractions. What does it mean comparing and ordering fractions? How can we compare and order fractions? By using this video, I will explain it to you. That is why compare and order of fractions is our lesson objective for today. Before continuing, I want to make sure first that you are already familiar with the numerator and denominator. Let me show you a fraction. We have a fraction here, 4/6. Which number do you think is the numerator? Which number is the denominator? Yes, you are correct. Number 4 is the numerator and number 6 is the denominator. Now let's discuss our topic for today. In comparing and ordering fractions, there are 3 conditions. First condition, fractions that have the same denominators or like denominators. Can you see these fractions? What condition do they have in common? Yes, these fractions have the same denominators, but as you can see, they have different numerators. So how can we compare and order fractions? Focus on their numerators. The bigger the numerator, the bigger fraction. In this example, the numerators are 6 and 2. 6 is bigger than 2. We can conclude that the fraction 6/8 is bigger than the fraction 2/8, or the fraction 2/8 is smaller than 6/8. Now, if we want to put them in order from greatest to least, we will write the fraction 6/8 first, then 2/8. Now let's try to do the other example. I will give you half minute to solve this question. Are you done? Now let's check your answer. Here it is. Just like I told you before, just look at their numerators and order them using it. Number 5 is bigger than number 4. Number 4 is bigger than number 3. Number 3 is bigger than number 2. That's why we will get this in order. The second condition is 2 or more fractions that have the same numerators or unlike denominators. Look at the fraction below. These fractions have the same numerators, but as we see, they have different denominators. So how can we compare them? It will be the opposite of the first condition. In this condition, we need to focus on the denominator. The smaller the denominator, the bigger the fraction. Just imagine you have one biscuit and you must divide it among 4 of your friends or 8 of your friends. Of course, 4 of your friends will get a bigger part of your biscuit rather than 8 of your friends. Now, let's solve them. Which is the largest fraction? 1/4 or 1/8? Once again, if you find a condition like this, just focus on their denominators. The smaller the denominator, the bigger the fraction. So even if 4 is smaller than 8, 1/4 is bigger than 1/8. Let's try the other example. I will give you a half minute to solve this question. Now, let's check your answer. Here it is. By focusing on the denominators, let's compare them and put them in order. Even though 6 is smaller than 8 and 10, 4 over 6 is bigger than 4 over 8 and 4 over 10. So in order, we will write it as 4 over 6, 4 over 8, and 4 over 10. What if we have uncommon denominators, or the fractions that have different denominators and numerators? Can we compare and order them? Yes, we can. This condition is called an uncommon denominator. So how do we compare and order them? By using cross multiplication and making the new denominators. If we want to compare only two uncommon fractions, just use cross multiplication method. How? Here's how. See the numbers that I circle, the first numerator and the second denominator. Now multiply both of them and put the answer on the left side. So 4 is multiplied by 8, the answer will be 32. Now I will circle the other part. Can you see it? The first denominator and the second numerator. Let's multiply them, but we need to write the answer on the right side. So 3 is multiplied by 8, the answer is 18. Here it is. Okay, now if we already got both of the answers, just compare the number. The bigger number of the cross multiplication is the bigger fraction. But remember, the number on the left side will belong to the first fraction, and the number on the right side will belong to the second fraction. In this example, 32 is bigger than 18, so that means 4 over 6 is bigger than 3 over 8. Last condition. What if we are to compare and order more than two uncommon fractions? It's better for us to use the new denominators method. But how can we find the new denominators? By finding the least common multiple of the denominator. Order from the greatest to the least, 4 over 6, 3 over 8, and 1 over 2. First, look at their denominators. Now find the least common multiple of 6, 8, and 2. The multiples of 6 are 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, and so forth. The multiples of 8 are 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, and so forth. The multiples of 2 are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, and so forth. So the least common multiple of 6, 8, and 2 is 24. 6, 8, and 2 will be changed to 24. Now what we need to do is convert each fraction into a fraction that has a denominator of 24. So how can we do that? So, since we multiply the denominator by 4, we must also multiply the numerator by 4. 4 times 4 is 16. So 4 over 6 is the same as 16 over 24. Now let's move on to the next fraction. Next fraction is 3 over 8. Let's change the denominator into 24. 8 times what number is 24? It turns out that 8 times 3 is 24. So since we multiply the denominator by 3, we must also multiply the numerator by 3. 3 times 3 is 9. So 3 over 8 is the same as 9 over 24. It will be just the same if we want to convert 1 over 2 into a fraction where the denominator is 24. It turns out that 2 times 12 is 24. So since we multiplied the denominator by 12, we must also multiply the numerator by 12. 1 times 12 is 12. So 1 over 2 is the same as 12 over 24. Now we have the same denominators. We can arrange the fractions from the greatest to the least. So the greatest fraction is 16 over 24, then 12 over 24, and the least is 9 over 24. So 16 over 24 is the same as 4 over 6, 12 over 24 is the same as 1 over 2, and 9 over 24 is the same as 3 over 8. So that's how you can order the fraction from the greatest to the least.